screwing around and start!
Hey guys, it's Vio. So today I'm going to be talking about the card Snatch Steal. Snatch Steal is a card that everybody was kind of freaking out about. And you got people such as MegaCapitalG saying that it's a really good card, and people like Robbie Cole trying to say that it's really, really bad. I am 100% for it as an amazing card. I believe that there are like 4 decks in the game that you really should not use this card in, like Ghost Tricks, because you want to leave your opponent's monsters on their side of the field and their monsters will be face down anyways. Decks like Burning Abyss, where it will only work in a mirror match, but there's just silly situations like that yes, this card's not that good in, but overall I believe this card is a really, really, really good card. This card will work in any single deck that is basically tier 2 or lower. You'd look at any kind of the decks in the entire game, from like windups, they can take any monster and now I can either beat with it or I can use it for any kind of XYZ summon. Decks like Yang Zing or decks like even like TGs, just allowing you to synchro with your opponent's cards, just being able to take the card and just now have all this different dexterity you can do. If you take a card like BLS, your opponent top decks that BLS, summons it and pokes for some damage. Your turn, you take the BLS, you can turn completely around how the game is going to be. Attack twice for huge damage. This card says a top deck of this, or using cards such as the Hidden Armory, just changes how things work. Now, people are saying they're going to start running the like 3 Hidden Armory and 1 of this, which I think is an okay idea, like only under certain circumstances. Yes, having 4 copies of Snatch Steal is great, and there's like very few times when you're not going to be able to steal your opponent's monster. That is definitely for certain. But something you got to remember is you don't want to have a hand of this, because if you're playing a game just off of your opponent's monsters without any kind of plus going against you, you really don't have any kind of advantage besides the fact that you are playing a hand that, yes, is breakable by Mystical Space Typhoon. Yes, you can just get it back, and you can get it back, and you can get it back, but you are slowly wasting your hand away for a little payout there. Now, I do believe under certain circumstances this card is acceptable. So Hidden Armory is an amazing card. It's send a card from the top of your deck to your graveyard. You can add from your graveyard or your deck to your hand an equip card, which is very interesting because at the cost of your normal summon and you're milling a card, you can add Snatch Steal. But a main thing you got to remember is that's not the only equip card. Yes, this may be the only equip card you're playing if you're playing 1 and 3, but there are a lot of decks out there that can utilize equips. There is the Quill-Offs, that they have their own equip card that they could search with this card if they needed to. Now with the ability of they can search that equip or Snatch Steal. Shaddolls are getting a equip card fusion. Like if you get a fusion that is an equip card, this is all the more reason to run it, because you can run Snatch Steal and the fusion card, like 1 of each, or 2 of one and 1 of the Snatch Steal, and have 3 copies of this and be able to pull them out and pull them from your grave at the cost of a normal summon, which is not actually that important in later game for the Shaddol deck. The deck does a really good job of fusing straight out of the deck and then using this equip for later plays, along with the quick plays allowing you to try and push for damage. That normal summon that you need won't be necessary after the first couple of turns, and you're able to give up a normal summon in order to perform a fusion summon or steal your opponent's boss monster, making it so you can run a tech in order to search for, like, just a way to take your opponent's cards. And searching for free monster taking is very, very, very good in any situation. So there's a lot of other cards in this game that do similar things like Big Eye, but none of them have this searchability. Now at the same time, there is the problem of MST, but as MegaCapitalG was saying, there are so many cards like Vanity's Emptiness. Vanity's Emptiness says you can't special summon. If your opponent decides to use MST on this card instead of Vanity's Emptiness, or instead of one of your 1,000 back row, or if you're playing Quill-Offs instead of your Scout, it was just so hilarious. I'm sitting there watching him do his video, and he's just like, oh, I know you're activating Scout, but I gotta save my MST for that Snatch Steal. No, there's no reason at all. There are so many other cards to hit with this card, and there are a lot of XYZs that you can deal with that monster, especially since you're probably Snatch Stealing a special summon monster. You could definitely Shark Knight your own monster back, and it makes it so for summoning such a strong, like really, really, really good monster, you now have to either be able to protect that monster, deal with it this turn, or you're going to be facing your own monster if your opponent is running the card to take it. This format is very weird because the top decks can use weird cards. This card is a card that can not only be used by the top decks against the top decks, but it's a card that can be used by everyone else to fight some of the top decks. Your opponent summons their disc, you can activate this card and take the disc. Your opponent just summons all their cards, you can totally just take the card. And you do not have to use the card. You don't have to XYZ summon with it. You don't have to fusion or any of that stuff, because you can just sit on the field with that monster. And a lot of times its attack stat will be decent enough that you are offsetting the plus 1,000 they gain. And people are already playing triple upstart. So the fact that you're able to take an opponent's monster, give them 1,000 life points, and potentially just use their monster for a fusion or XYZ, there is almost no downside to this card. This card is amazing. I think it's amazing. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll leave links in the description for MegaCapitalG and MegaCapitalG. Their videos were very interesting. I strongly feel that MegaCapitalG made much better points than Robbie Cole, because all he was saying was MST, 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 and there's more cards to use MST on than Snatch Steal. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think in the comment section below, and have a wonderful day. Yeah.